What is good, YouTube? What is good? Welcome into another show with you guys, man. Of Last Word Productions, me, founder, host Tavares Wilson. Always get the last word. And here, main man, once again, Larry. Larry said, "What's up to the people, man?"
Yo, yo, yo. You can hear me? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. So
What's good, man?
let's get straight into it, man. Let's not beat around the bush. But before we get into the game, let me do a little housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow the show on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We here every week, every recap. Review games gonna start being held after the games. I think it's me changing my work schedule. It'll be a little bit better for me to get these shows out right after the games. Maybe some will be late night shows, just depending on how exactly it shakes out. But nonetheless, we here another Sunday, another loss. So we're gonna start with you, my man.
Something
Last
got something gotta go. Something gotta give, man. I'm sorry. This is terrible, man. This is awful at this point. Losing the bad games, losing the close ones. The games we're supposed to win, the games we're supposed to get blown out, and we actually look competitive. We're playing and we're doing it. Then boom, something happens. Jordan Poyer late hit. We can't get Josh Allen to the ground. I don't even think we sacked the man because the play that Emmanuel Ogba had, that was a design run, so that was a tackle for a loss. Something got to go. Something's got to give. McDaniel, I don't know if it's you. Chris Greer, I don't know if it's you. Hey man, we talked about it yesterday. The special teams, the punter having terrible punts, bro. It's over, bro. That optimism I had with last night with the 28-24 score with the dub, we had it. I was hopeful, and a 61-yard field goal killed the dreams. Let this shit go, bro. Somebody got to get traded. Somebody got to get fired. Somebody need to get a demotion. It needs to happen. Something bad needs to happen in the Dolphins organization in order to see good come, bro. It's over.
Okay, so that's actually interesting because you're usually the more optimistic one between us, and you weren't moved at all by the way they performed today. The offense. I mean, before I get into the point, let me get into the numbers. I mean, the offense for the most part looked damn good today. I mean, they had what? How many total yards they had? The offense on the game for rushing the ball had 149 yards. You'll take that any day of the week. They had 224 passing, not over the moon numbers, but good. And total yards, they outgained Buffalo 373 to 325. And time of possession, they had the ball 3 minutes longer. So the difference in this game was simply put the turnover by Raheem Mostert, and that seemed to be the difference in the game. But to me, on my personal opinion, I was already at that point of believing someone needs to be fired. It's someone needs to be fired. Changes need to be made. To me, regardless of how well they looked in a loss, it's a loss. You're 2-6 on the season. That was not the expectations. Nowhere near close to it.
Nowhere
I don't
near.
exactly. So I don't care if you lost by 2 points, 3 points, 1 point, 4 points. It doesn't matter. It's a loss in the loss column. The Bills have essentially clinched the AFC East at this point because I mean the next closest team is the Jets at what 3-6. I mean, let's be real. Like that's and they already beat the Jets. So the Bills can probably rest starters about time week 16 come around for 2 weeks. So it doesn't even matter at this point. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I know a lot of people are going to take some kind of moral victory lap, saying that they look good in the loss and saying how they did this down the third right and the offense has been looking better, all this other stuff. The reality of the situation is you're still finding a way to lose games and you're still finding ways to become a worse team. Like Just call a spade a spade. That's just what it is. They're not the team we thought they were going to be. They're just simply not. And I think that a lot of that derives from coaching, if I have to say so myself. And yeah, let me give credit what it's due first. You got something playing, bro? What is that?
Nah, I don't got nothing planned. You can hear something?
Yeah,
You probably heard my other mic. We still on the big
nah,
mode.
but let me give credit when it's due. I thought Mike McDaniel called a damn good game today. I know you said earlier you felt like they called the game a bit conservative. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really call it conservative in my personal opinion. I would call it them playing by what's working and sticking to what's working. That was running the ball. They ran the ball extremely well today. And that was the one weakness on this Bills team that I said they need to exploit in order to have a chance to win this game. And to their credit, they gave themselves a chance to win the game by running the ball and staying with it. They couldn't make the plays down the stretch to put together a win, and they couldn't ultimately stop the Bills from getting down the field from kicking a game-winning field goal. But regardless of all of those facts and all of that, this team is 2-6. Something needs to change, like you said. And to me, we can sit here and we can argue what that change needs to be, like from the jump. But the one thing to me, in my personal opinion, that is evident at this point, to me personally, you cannot expect to win in this league, in your even in your division. You can't expect to win as long as you got this tandem that you have and Mike McDaniel into it. Again, I get it. They've they played good today. Mike McDaniel called a good game today. Tua played well. It wasn't good enough. That's just the facts of the matter. It wasn't good enough. And it hasn't been good enough for the past 5 years. At some point, you have to admit we need a little more out of the position. Because when you watch Tua play, he rarely ever does anything off script. He doesn't really create on his own. Today he had another botch snap that hit him dead in his hands. Again, I know it wasn't a turnover, but it led to a sack. This was a game where every single play on the field today mattered. And you can't afford to have this continuous snap and hands issue as a quarterback who's getting paid $200+ million. You just can't have it. And I get it. It didn't lead to a turnover, so a lot of people are not going to harp on it. I'm not going to harp on it either, but it's still nonetheless an issue, and it needs to be fixed, as it's been an issue for 2 years. At some point, man, this is just who you got. So they have to do something about it, man. I think the first thing they have to do is come to terms. Stephen Ross has to come to terms with the core that I have invested in, put my money in, put my belief in, ain't working. And the biggest reason and the biggest blame for that is none other than Chris Greer. And I will say it till the cows come home. If Chris Greer ain't fired at the end of this season, because I know more than likely he's not going to get fired mid-season. You rarely see GMs get fired mid-season. But if he ain't fired the end of this season, I will be fully convinced this team is just acceptive of mediocrity. They'll never, ever go anywhere. Never. Because it's too much talent on this team to consistently find ways to lose. It's too much talent. You got too much talent. So in my personal opinion, I think that's what needs to be the change first and foremost. Chris Greer has to be fired. Point blank period. But you got anything else you want to add before we move on, bro?
Yeah, we can move on, but it's just man, I didn't see enough. I don't think for this season anything could be enough, bro. Maybe if there's a playoff surprise, but I highly doubt that's happening. I think I'm gonna fully stand by the fact that this needs to be blown up, bro. It's unfortunate to say. It's very disheartening to say, honestly, but it needs to be a blow up, bro. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. We can move on now.
I was about to say, man, I don't think the playoffs is honestly realistic at this point because
Mm-hmm.
you got the Bengals who are putting together games now. You got the Chargers who look a lot better than what I thought they were going to be this season. You got the Jets putting together more chemistry. They may not be a threat per se, but they seem to be good enough to at least compete or beat you. So you have to take in consideration there are other teams on the outside looking in right now in the AFC with better records and arguably better teams. So it's going to be tough for them to try to make it tricky in the playoff seedings because when you look at it, they two teams already got tiebreakers over them for the playoff series. You got the Colts, you got the Titans. They already got the tiebreakers because you know they beat them. Then you got the Bengals, who are essentially 2 games ahead of you with 4 wins to your 2. And then you got the Jets, who is in your division, who you still got to play twice this year. They're ahead of you as well. So this is an uphill battle that's not in the Dolphins' favor right now. And when you look at the rest of the schedule, I mean, this is a long out. You got the Rams next Monday night. Then after that, you got the Raiders. Then after that, you got the Patriots, who fought tooth and nail today with the Titans. Then after that, you got the Packers. After them, you got the Jets. After them, you got the Texans. Then you got Niners. Then you got the Browns, who didn't look impressive today. And then you got the Jets to close out the season. So you got a pretty this I want to say it's a all worldly ending of the season schedule, but you got some competition on here. And in order for you to even have a chance to make the playoffs, you got to win at least 5 out of 6 of these games. You got to. You got to win at least 5 or 6 of these games. And I just don't know how realistic of a goal that is right now for this team. I just don't know how realistic it is. So the playoff aspirations, in my personal opinion, are all but gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And truth be told, I think the aspirations that people had of this team having a Super Bowl window is all but gone as well. Because this team is clearly taking significant steps back in terms of not only just productivity, but youth, player quality, and just downright just coaching overall and not ownership but management. Like this team has been mismanaged, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You got a comment from Breezo. What's up, my boy? Boy said 61-yard field goal is insane. Yeah, I mean it's a tough way to lose, but you know it happens. It happens. They made one more play than we did. That's what it came down to. And at the end of the day, when you look at the game, you turn on the game, you watch the games, the Dolphins left stuff out on the field to be desired. They did. So even though I give them credit in the world, this is the best. To me, this was the best overall performance they've had all year, in my personal opinion. The offense looked damn good for majority of the game. They had a few hiccups, but other than that, offense, this was by far and large their best performance of the year. The defense had moments where they looked okay, but for the most part, they just they just couldn't handle great players. No lie, I had that game in the bad. Too many missed opportunities. Yeah, too many missed opportunities, miscues. And the better team won, bro. I mean, this team has put belt to ass for us for the last 6 years. I mean, the better team won. That's just what it is. The better team won. So any and now that we're talking about moving on from players and stuff like that, bro. We gotta have a serious discussion about your boy Jalen Water, man. Because I think we're at a point. We're mid-season, and I think we're at the point where it's legitimately time to start questioning whether or not they paid him. You know, whether or not paying him was the right choice. Because he finished the game with 2 catches on the whole entire game. He had -4 yards, and I get it. That's skewed because he finished the game trying to make some kind of crazy play happen, and it just didn't happen. Cool, but outside of the literal last drive of the game, which he came up big in, give him credit for that. Outside of the literal last drive of the game, bro, Jalen Water was a literal non-factor the entire game. The entire game. And we talked about this last show. He ain't seeing the double teams and the over the top coverage like Tyreek is seeing. He's not seeing the team's best corner. He's not seeing all the attention come his way or roll his way. So it's mind boggling how he cannot seem to get the ball on a consistent basis or get open and create opportunities for himself. So it's a little concerning at this point because, bro, we're what we're midway through the season, and these are Jalen Waddle's numbers: 28 receptions, 310 yards, 1 touchdown. He's averaging 39 yards a game. It's not good enough. You got 5 drops on the year too. It's not good
Mm-hmm.
enough. It's simply not good enough. And for a guy who just got a lucrative extension, getting almost 30 million annually, you need more from him. But my question is to you, Larry, where do you go from here with a player like Jalen Water? Like, is this someone you still have hope and belief in that he will continuously grow down the stretch of his career? Or is this someone who you can view as a tradable asset?
I don't. I don't think I could move on from Jalen Waddle, but just throwing youth in as a factor. He is still 25 years old. If anything, I would think that anybody would try to move on from Tyreek Hill. They was looking at trade pieces per se, or like moving on from a a receiving impact type player. But it is kind of disappointing. It is disappointing. It's not kind of. It is very disappointing to see that Jalen Waddle only has 310 receiving yards and 1 touchdown through 8 games of the season, 9 weeks.
Yeah, 8 games.
That's
Yeah.
a huge. That's a huge disappointment, bro. And I know the quarterback play wasn't the best this year from injuries to um, miscues to just downright bad quarterback play. But like you said already, from a guy who's not getting the direct attention of the defense like a Tyreek Hill would do, he's playing very under his value and what he's worth. At least from what his contract is saying. His contract saying that he's a legit number two and a guy who's going to make dynamic plays for your offense. You got Devontae Smith catching third and 22s touchdowns with one hand in the corner of the end zone. in the back corner of the end zone,
You got Garrett
getting his feet
Wilson doing
down.
it too.
You got Garrett Wilson catching one-hand passes, getting his one toe down in the shin and bounce while getting pulled out of the back of the end zone, bro. These are number 2 guys on their respective teams, which are the Eagles and the Jets. So it's a lackluster performance of the year from Jalen Waddle, man. I would think I would honestly deduce this to being a down year. I wouldn't get rid of him, but this isn't the Waddle that we were expecting this year. You know, he's honestly one of my favorite players on the team, but this wasn't a good year at all, to say the least, bro. So that's what I think.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think they should move on off of Waddle because, again, like you said, he still is relatively young, extremely young. He's mid-20s. You know, there's no need to rush off of a talent like that, especially someone who you drafted. I believe they drafted him, 8th overall, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a top 10 pick. You just paid him. There's no need to rush anything. But simply put, someone needs to get in his ear and tell him, yo, you are tripping right now. You are playing lackluster. And I know for a fact you're better than this because not only have we seen better from you, but you are just too talented to be going out here and finishing the game on a consistent basis with under 50 yards receiving. It is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank period. It's no other way to describe it. It's no other way to put it. He has to be better. Point blank period. He has to be better. In my personal opinion, I still believe Tyreek Hill needs to be better. Even though he had a pretty decent game today, pretty good game today, I still need to see him hit the end zone. He still only has 1 touchdown on the year. He has yet to have another 100-yard game on the year. All of that came in week 1. There's too much money invested in the receiver room for you to be finishing games with no 100 yard for 7 straight weeks to have not one 100-yard receiver and 1 touchdown for both of them. It's unacceptable. And at some point, Mike McDaniel, and I get it, they ran the ball a lot today. They wanted a balanced attack. They got the balanced attack, and they still could not produce for their top 2 guys. When Tua dropped back, he had how many passes Tua had today? 28, 30? Bro, you telling me?
Yeah, I believe so.
You telling me on 20 what it was? 28 attempts. Yeah, he had 28 attempts. On 28 attempts, bro, he went 25 for 28. You telling me he couldn't? It was Waddle and Hill was so boxed. Not one of these guys could crack 90 yards. Not one of them. And I get it. Again, Tyreek had a pretty good game. He did. I'm not taking that from him, but bro, you're getting paid $30 million. I need more than 4 catches and 80 yards from you, dog. I need more. I'm sorry, it's unfair. I get it, but you're a superstar. You was voted the number 1 player on that NFL top 100. I need more, bro. I need more. I need touchdowns. I need the games where you go off for 10 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. I need that. We ain't got that yet. Waddle, I need 11 grabs, 115, a tud. I need it. We ain't got that yet. I need it. We need it, bro. This is why you got paid the money, because you're supposed to be doing this on a more consistent basis, bro. They're not doing it at all. It's not happening at all. And that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. We got 2 comments from Brizo, man. He said, so what's your ideal scenario moving forward as far as coaching, personnel change, and roster structure? Before I answer this question, I want to hear your answer, bro. You go ahead and answer the question. I'll answer after.
What it was again? I'm sorry.
It's on the screen.
I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't looking at it. I ain't even by my phone right now.
All right, you can see it now. You want me to read it?
Yeah, read it. Just read it again.
He said,
I
"So
heard
what's
like
your?"
roster structure.
He said, "So what's your ideal scenario moving forward? Forward, excuse me, as far as coaching, personnel change,
Hmm.
and roster structure."
All right, so I'm gonna break it down from from piece to piece. Um, it was roster change was the last one. Personnel and look,
Coaching.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Coaching, I'm done with the coaching. The coaching is over. This is not no NFL coaching. This is an offensive coordinator being cool with his players, bro. This is not ideal in no way, shape, or form to being a competing franchise, bro. This is not a competing franchise at all. Not right now. It probably was last year, and you only got 7 put up on the scoreboard in the playoffs against the defending Super Bowl champions. So coaching wise, I'm getting rid of the OC. I mean, basically the OC. I'm getting rid of the head coach. I'm getting rid of the special teams guy. Yeah, there needs to be a change. Um, Roster moves. Hey, whoever comes calling with the correct, you know, the correct pay of a player, or I feel is deemed worthy for the player, I'll get rid of him, bro. I really try to get rid of the quarterback if I can. That's just me though. I know a lot of people like the guy. I'm not a fan of him at all. I haven't been a fan of him since he was in college. So I'm just being straight, blunt, and honest, bro. And just ideally speaking, I would try to get rid of some of these weapons. I know a lot of teams are starving at pass catcher and running back. You know, Raheem Mostert could be available if anybody can come and take Raheem Mostert. If anybody did want Tyreek Hill in his contract, I would trade even Tyreek Hill, bro. It's time to move on. I feel like, man, like this isn't ideal to me, in my personal opinion. Like the offense that we tried to create, it was cool at one point in time, but I don't feel like it's anything of value at this point for this franchise, man. Like I seriously don't feel like that. It's sad to say, but it's the honest truth. I don't feel like it's going to move forward.
Okay.
Personnel wise, I probably it's kind of in the same boat, honestly. Just trying to get some pieces. I would honestly, I tank for a pick. I won't even lie to you. I would tank, bro. I would seriously tank for the picks. Try to get as deep in the first round as possible, and then try to get some second, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, and sevenths, bro. Get some young guys in. That's me though. What you think?
For me, man, personally, I've listen, bro. I can't keep beating the same dead horse, man. But I told you in Rio this, man. When we first started doing this, bro, I told y'all this jump from the jump street. I got it recorded on TikTok. I got it. People call me crazy for it. I said if this year goes south, if it don't work, blow it up. I mean, at this point, everybody and everything is fair game to go. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. Me personally. I'm not saying they can't have untouchable assets and players on their team because they very much so can. I believe you can make that case for A Chain, Waddle. I think you can make that case for Jalen Wright, Chart Robinson. He actually had a sack today. That was good to see. He played. He had a pretty solid game today against a damn good left tackle, Deion Dawkins. I gotta add. He had a good, pretty okay-ish good game. He had a sack. Gotta give him credit when it's due. But I feel like those four guys to me are your four unmovable pieces. Everyone else, and I mean literally everyone else, I'm sorry. If a call is made and it sounds good for an offer, you could go. You could probably make a case for Ramsey staying too, but eh, I mean, if a team offers you something you can't refuse, I say take it. But Ramsey is in that part for me where it's like if a team not offering something that's just irrefusable, you keep them. But if they offer you something crazy, yeah, you take it. You take it for sure. And as far as the coaching goes, I told you already, bro. I've been done with Mike McDaniel. I've been said he's an overglorified OC. I've been said he's too soft on players. I've been said his team is too undisciplined. Again, it showed itself today. There were let me look how many penalties they had on the day. Uh, Total penalties. They had 8 penalties a day for 57 yards. Again, not good enough. Not good enough. And one of them was costly at the end of the game. 8 penalties for 57 yards. Undisciplined team. You got Raheem Mostert, who I believe he has now. I seen the stat. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. It said, I believe it said he had. Hold on, I gotta go back to it. He has 6 fumbles in 16 games now. Not good enough. Losing football. That's what that is. And to me personally, I know a lot of people will disagree with this, but to me personally, that's a reflection of coaching. When you coach and play with guys who are careless with the ball on a consistent basis, what are you doing in practice to make it better? I mean, are we just acceptive of them of who they are, and hopefully that you believe that they'll get it fixed just because they tell you they will, or are we actually working in order to make it better? That's my question, and I don't think that's what they're doing because the same mistakes are happening on a weekly basis. It's the same mistakes every week, same mistakes, bro. So nah, I can't really, I can't really give them that, bro. I've been done with McDaniel. And as far as personnel change goes, I think the GM needs to go. I've said that multiple times. I think Chris Greer is done. And of parting ways with every other OC, DC on this team, lineman coach, parting ways with the entire coaching staff. If that means losing the entire coaching staff for the sake of firing Chris Greer, please go ahead and do it. There is no one on this coaching staff that is just that downright irreplaceable. There isn't a single person. Anthony Weaver has been solid this year. He ain't irreplaceable. You can find another Anthony Weaver. You can find someone better than Anthony Weaver, in my opinion. But it has to be moved on from. And it has to start at the top with Chris Greer, point blank period. I think if Chris Greer is here next season, his team is just going to fall in the same rabbit hole it's been falling in for the past decade. That's just what I feel, and that's how it seems to me. So in terms of changes, I think you need to change the whole thing and just let it go. Me personally. And Rizzo had another comment, and this one is in regards to Waddle. He says definitely an asset. If Tua wasn't on the big deal, it would be great to keep him. But that huge salary cap hit is just ridiculous. No need to have a huge payroll and still be borderline mediocre. Even though Tua deal hasn't taken effect yet, I do agree with this. I said this to Larry in another show, man. It makes absolutely no sense to have all this money tied up to 4 or 5 players and you have nothing to show for it. Usually, when players get paid big money like this, the team has won something. I mean, look at the Chiefs. They paid Mahomes after winning the Super Bowl. Like, look at look at the Rams. They gave Stafford a big lucrative contract after he won the Super Bowl. Same thing with Cooper Cup. Hell, look at Tampa. They gave Mike Evans, I believe they gave Mike Evans an extension. Not Mike Evans, excuse me. Chris Godwin, I believe. They gave him money after they won the Super Bowl where Brady was there. It's that's when you typically see teams roll out the dough for their star players and other key players to their franchise. Bro, we've done it backwards, bro. They paid all these big name players and all these positional players for the sake of just paying them and believing in the hopes that they'll get it figured out. And the reality of the situation is not figured out. That's the reality of the situation. But you got anything you want to add, bro?
Nah, man. I really just got to move on from this, man. It's disappointment after disappointment. So might as well be disappointed with some young guys on the squad.
Yeah, mind you, yeah. Right. That you said, mind you, this is a lot of people realize, man, we have the oldest roster in the league. Oldest roster in the league. And this is what you have to show for it. 2-6 record, injured players. Guys seem to be getting gassed at the end of the games each and every week. That's what you got to show for it.
Excuse me.
It's ridiculous, man, to say the least. And one thing I do want to ask you, bro, just to see how you thinking about it in regards to the situation with the Dolphins right now. What do you make of the whole situation with the offensive line right now? Like, do you still, because to me, in my perspective, I thought offensive line was fine today. I thought it was fine. I thought they ran blocking from that perspective was extremely well. What do you make of the offensive line situation right now? Like, do you think that's still something that needs to be addressed?
You get me right.
Mm-hmm.
So the offensive line, I don't feel like is. I don't think the offensive line is necessarily the biggest issue. Not to say that it isn't an issue, especially when your main bread and butter is like passing the football and pass protection on this offensive line is not the best. So honestly speaking, in a sense, I think we do need a better pass blocker at the offensive line position. But and I mainly think it's up in the interior where we need that, if I'm being honest. So the offensive line is very, how can I say? It's definitely surprised me. It's good. It's better than I thought, but it does need an improvement. So am I
Yeah,
content with this offensive line? I'm content with it for now, but I would like to see them, you know, get better.
yeah, I agree with that. I definitely would like to see them still be an improved unit. Nonetheless, I still, even though they've looked good the last 3 weeks, they've looked way better than what I give them credit for at the beginning of this year when they looked absolutely terrible. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think the interior play still needs to be better, specifically from your two guards in terms of pass blocking and just overall just guard play. Period. I still believe Austin Jackson should not make it out of this contract in terms of what he's got extended. I think Austin Jackson is just going to progressively get worse as his career goes on. He didn't. Now that's not me saying he played bad today at all. Because by all means, he did not play bad today. I'm never going to be a believer in Austin Jackson. I'm gonna just be frank about it. I'm not a believer in his game. I don't like Austin Jackson. That's just me
Yeah.
personally. That's not me saying he can't be better. That's not me saying he can't prove me wrong. I just personally don't like Austin Jackson. So hopefully things can pan out in regards to that. But since we're on the topic, what you think the biggest need is then, since that's what you addressed, since the offensive line, in your opinion, is the biggest need, what you think the biggest need is?
The biggest need. Hmm. Honestly speaking, man, I still think the biggest need is the pass rush. I think we still need a pass rusher. Um, I think the pass rushing is abysmal to say the least. I don't think it's the best at all, and it's definitely our weakest unit, man. It's not where it's supposed to be. We're dependent on a rookie defensive lineman who can't necessarily who can't necessarily get off the ball too well. So, like I said last part, man, I think a dynamic pass rusher is definitely what we need.
Okay. I agree with that. I think pass rusher, excuse me, is definitely a huge asset for this team that they're desperate need of. If I had to pick, to me, the biggest need of this team isn't a player, it's a general manager. And they need another GM, bro. They need another GM. To me, that's the biggest need for this team. I'm not even gonna lie. They cannot have this dude calling the shots next year, bro. They can't. They just can't. This team would never amount to anything if Chris Greer is the guy that's going to continuously making the shots, taking the shots. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So another week, another L, but we got to give out a game ball. This is something I want to start doing. So who are you giving your game ball to, man, as the best performance today?
Game ball.
Yeah.
Mm. I'm giving it to Devon Achane, man. Devon Achane was the boy that was this past game.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm giving mine to Devon Achane.
Okay.
I'm still gonna need the cabinet. Yeah,
I'm gonna give
definitely Devon Achane. You said who now?
my game ball to Tua, man. I gave Tua a lot of
Oh
flack,
no.
and I still believe they need to move on for Tua. But I thought Tua played a damn good game today. I thought throughout the entire game he had one bad throw where he underthrew Tyreek on what could have been the touchdown. Other than that, I thought Tua played lights out today, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. He moved in the pocket well. He ran for a critical first down today to extend the play on 4th and 2, I believe. He had a pretty solid game today. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I thought he played well today. So for me, I gotta give it a two, bro. I gotta give credit when it's due, man. But
So are we giving it the Tua just because of what we expected from him and he played opposite of that expectation, or because he was the best player on the field?
I'm giving it to him because I thought he arguably was the best player on the field today for the Dolphins. That's why I'm giving it to him. I don't have a problem with you saying Devon A Chain was, because if you didn't say A Chain, I probably would have. I thought he was good, but I just didn't want to have the same answer as you. So, I had to give it to someone different. I picked my boy. I picked Tua. But
I feel
nonetheless,
that.
man, that'll be it for the review show tonight, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in once again. I think this was the most people we had viewing the show since we started. We got I believe it was 8, 9 people. So I
So,
appreciate it, man. Y'all keep rolling in. Y'all keep going. Share the streams. Follow the channel. Subscribe. Facebook.
follow, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, exactly. You see all comments, man. We see all comments. All you gotta do is comment. I will show it on the screen. Trust me. But before we head out, bro, anything else you want to add?
Um, is Cam Ward the best quarterback in college?
You asking
Is
me?
it time? Is it time to? Yeah, I'm asking you.
No. I still think Shador is better than Cam Ward.
You feel like Shador?
Yeah, I like Shador over Cam.
Okay, okay.
I don't have a problem with people believing he's the best, but me personally, for my money, I'm taking Shador Sanders.
I feel like I just had to ask. Yeah, man. Hey, if the Dolphins looking for a quarterback, I wouldn't mind either or leading my squad.
Yeah, of course. But that'll be it for the show tonight, guys. Appreciate it always tuning in. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace out.